Alright, so the question today is, should you lower your prices? So I don't care what industry you're in, to be competitive, a lot of times people will come forward and they'll lower their prices to get more work. Okay? And I've never been a believer in that. I'm still not a believer in that. And I haven't built everything I have today by doing that. And I don't know how you can doing that. How anyone can do that. I think that if you keep your prices low, you're just simply having a slow going out of business sale. All right? If you can't make money so that you can reinvest in your business and make your business better than what it was yesterday, then you're not getting ahead. You're not going anywhere. You're stagnant. So I'm a firm believer in sticking to your guns, sticking to your prices, and that's not how you beat your competition. Okay? We're going to get into that in this video, and I'm going to show you how you beat your competition. Don't make price the reason that you win the job. I remember when I did a lot of commercial landscaping. That's all we did. I had crews going all over the state. And it got to the point where I can remember one winter bidding like 30 some jobs, and each job took you like, anywhere from a day or 2 days to bid all the way up to a week to bid. And I was just like, oh, this is just insanity to sit here and do that many bids, and I never got a single job. At that point, I told my wife, I said, you know what? We have cut corners everywhere we could on these. I got in at the lowest price I possibly could, basically just trying to keep the work flowing for my guys, to keep my guys busy throughout the winter. Wasn't even an option because, where I'm at here in Wisconsin, you can't landscape in the winter. So we have to make money, right? And we had to bring the prices down so far, it was just ridiculous. And we still couldn't win the work. I'm like, you know what? We're going about this the whole wrong way. So we turned around what we did. If the commercial end of things got so bad that you couldn't make any money in the commercial world, it's time to get out. And what we did is we focused more on the residential then. And I had to let some people go that were on my commercial crews. And I focused on residential, and I never looked back. And to this day, I'm not out bidding unless I have a specific company. Like we have some general contractors in our town that will come and specifically ask me for a bid on a project. Otherwise, I don't even do it. All right? I've gotten away from it, and it was the best thing I ever did. I make more money now doing that than ever before. So when you're in the commercial line of things, I've never been a big fan of it because you're always bidding against other guys in there all the time, And usually 9 out of 10 times in the commercial work, they're going to pick that guy that's the low baller, right? So all you actually do is just win the low ball. Well, congratulations. You're the lowest of them all. Good for you, I think that's kind of a joke looking back on it now, And there are some accounts where you can make good money. I mean, there were times when I can remember down in Florida when we had an account where we were doing all the Target stores in this county and all the CVS pharmacies in the county, and all the Starbucks in the county, and it was a big contract for us, and we made good money at it, okay? But that was more of a fluke than anything. It was down there, I think they just wanted a company that was dependable, and we didn't win it off lowballing on our prices. We won it because we were a dependable company, and they held stock in us. And at the end of the day, it didn't work out for whatever, But that's just commercial work, And every year, it's like you got to keep bidding against these guys. And when their prices get tight in their stores, the economy's bad or whatever, well, they're going to start tightening up on you. And they're going to start taking the low ballers. And that's what happens, in these commercial jobs. So anyway, I believe, looking at this in a residential point of view, that I saw this down in Florida, and I'll get into that in a minute, but I think any time that you are driving the prices down, you're hurting your industry. I don't believe you have to do that. I think if you're educated better than that, then there's no reason for you to do it. If that's all you know to do is just keep dropping the prices, all you're going to do, like say you're getting $50 a lawn, and it used to be 60, now you came down to 50. What do you think your competition's going to do? They're going to come down to 40, okay? And then you're going to go to 30, and it just keeps going down and down and down until you're both just out of business, right? So that doesn't benefit anybody. I think what it does is hurts the industry. That's what that does. All right. I'm tired of hearing this excuse too. I hear it all the time. When you're new, that's just what you do. That's what you have to do to get in. I think that's bullshit. I really do. I think it's a crutch. I don't think anybody should believe in that, because here's the deal. If me and some young guy go to this guy's house, okay, and I go up there and maybe, you know, I'm not the best salesman that day or whatever. I come and I give him a price of $50 to mow that lawn. You mean to tell me if this young guy comes along and he's really happy-go-lucky and he strikes it off really good with these elderly people, you mean to tell me that kid doesn't have just as good of a chance of getting that lawn as me? Of course he does, right? Unless these people are after the lowest price on earth. Just imagine that. If all the lawn care guys got together and said, look, we're going to create a minimum, and the minimum is going to be $50 a lawn, or $25 or $30 or whatever it is, okay, in this area. If you guys got together and did this, just imagine how tough you could make it on the customer then. And all you guys would have to go out and sell them on either your good looks, your great charming personality, maybe what you drove up in, you look more professional than the next guy. There's a million ways to win that business, right? I have won business over and over and over again, I can't tell you how many times, by having the nice looking wrapped vehicle, by having a uniform on when you come, by being pleasant with them, being happy with them, and projecting a positive attitude. And I've not been the lowball guy, all right? I didn't have to stoop to that level. They still chose me because of other factors, okay? And if they're all, this has been my experience too, if they want the lowest guy, if they want the lowballer, these tire kickers, if that's what they want, this isn't your ideal customer anyway. Why would you want that customer? You're not going to get any other work from them. You're not going to get the tree work from them, the shrub work from them, the pesticide applications or the lawn care applications, because they're lowballers. They're going to take the lowest guy in all of those things, right? That just means you got to keep being the lowest guy, you know, the lowballer. Nobody wants to do that. You don't make any money doing that, all right? So I think it's just an excuse. I don't believe young guys need to do that coming in. I believe you beat people up on your marketing, okay? That's first and foremost, all right? And I'm going to give you a prime example of that. If I do my marketing correctly, and I have, instead of 20 calls that come in, let's say 20 to 30 calls for lawn care this year, if I do my marketing correct, I might be able to triple that and make the phone ring 100 times, all right? Well, what did I just do when I did that? If I keep my prices the same, I can go to all these people and say, look, this is where I'm at. Some of them aren't going to take me because they're lowballers, tire kickers. Those aren't the customers I want anyway. But I've created more of a funnel of all these sales coming in, all these calls coming in, and if I do it regularly, my phone keeps ringing. It keeps ringing. Pretty soon I can pick and choose the jobs I want. And that's the way it goes. For me, that's how you beat your competition. All right? You beat them on the marketing end of it. Look good when you go there. Have your vehicle looking as nice as possible. Be very polite. Joke around with the people. Make them like you. That's how you win the work. Who wants to go there and work for nothing? Do you really want to go there and work for $5 an hour? Of course you don't. So why keep lowering your prices? So you can go bust your ass for these people, work all week long, and then have $50 left over at the end of the week? Oh yeah, and then you got to fill up all the tanks with gas, and you got to buy blades, and you got all the maintenance to do, and before you know it, you're going out of business. That's what I mean. You're having a slow going out of business sale, right? All right. You ever wonder why some companies go out there and they have all these nice vehicles all the time, and they'll start out with one nice looking truck, and before you know it, they've got 2 trucks, and they've got 3 trucks, and then they have a whole fleet of trucks, and you're like, how in the hell are these guys doing that, right? Several ways. Marketing's probably the number one thing that they're good at, okay? They've learned how to market good. They're out marketing you, and you think to yourself, God, I know I'm cheaper than those guys. How are they doing it? Those guys charge so much. You know what? Because they don't play that game. They don't play the game of drop the dollar, drop the dollar, drop the dollar. They don't do that at all. They set their prices where they want them to be. They go and make their money on all different aspects. All right? They keep sticking their money back into their business because they have money to stick into it. If you're the low baller, you don't have any money to stick in your business because you're mowing for too cheap. All right? All right. I can remember a guy that was in Florida, and I would find his stickers on the doors. He had little stickers that he would put on the doors of people's houses. He would come right up, he'd slap it on right in front of you while you were there mowing. $45, excuse me, $45 a month this guy was bidding. I'm like, a month? That's like $11.25. I'm like, what the hell? Who can even do that? This guy wasn't doing it for very long. Pretty soon, you didn't see his truck anymore. He had one truck. You didn't see it anymore. He filled himself up. He was working his ass off out there for all the cheapskates. He had all the cheapskates out there. He went till his vehicles all took a crap. Once they took a crap, he didn't have the money to fix anything, so he was out. He was done. He was down the road, right? All right. Don't let that be you. That doesn't need to be you. There's no reason for it to be you. All right? All right. I never drop my prices. I don't do it with lawn care. I don't do it with landscaping, and I don't do it with pest control. I'm not the low guy. I don't want to be that guy out there. I try to outmarket my competition. I try to make sure, and I'm successful at filling my calendar full of work, and it's all good paying jobs, okay? Now here's how. Here's how you do that. Let's say you're a landscaper. I've been over this for some of you guys. If you're new to this, you haven't, so listen up. This is what I do. If I am dependent on getting every job, and I only get 10 or 20 calls a year, and I have to get every one of those jobs, right? I'm going to have to bring my prices down. I'm going to have to do whatever it takes to get those jobs, right? That's the mentality that you have up here. And I used to subscribe to that when I was young. I don't anymore, and here's why. I turned up the marketing instead. I plunged more money into the marketing end of it. I kept my prices higher so that I can afford to stick money into the advertising. And now I keep my prices up higher, but now I have 100 calls that come in, you know, say in a week or in 2 weeks, I'll have 100 calls come in. So instead of me having to get those 20, I've got all kinds of people. Some of these people are going to hire me, okay? And I can tell you from experience, I have no problem filling my calendar up with lawn maintenance or landscaping or pest control. It doesn't matter. I can fill my calendar with any of those, all right? And I didn't do it by lowering my prices. We make good money at all those things, or we just don't do it. Plain and simple. All right. Okay. I've said this before too. I would rather mow 50 lawns at $50 a piece than 100 of them at $25 and make the same amount of money and wear out all your equipment and whatnot when you're trying to do those 100 lawns and bust your ass and working twice as hard to do 100 lawns. I mean, you don't need to do that. And if everybody keeps their prices up there, there's plenty to go around for everybody, okay? There's plenty of people. I don't care where you're at. If there's not enough people in your town and there's 6 of you and you're in a small town and you're all competing for it, then start branching out. Go a little different. One thing that we did, I'm in a small town in Antigo, Wisconsin, we branched out and now we go up into the lakes, okay? So we start mowing up in the lake houses. A lot of these lawn care companies don't want to go to the lakes, right? Because it's a 20-minute drive. I'll go up there. I just raise my prices. You know, it's $75, $85 a cut every time I go there. Okay? That's how I beat them. That's how I fill my calendar. I still fill it up, and I get paid well while I'm there. All right. That being said, I think it's an excuse when people tell me that they have to do that. They have to lower their prices to compete. That's an excuse. Your marketing, I'll tell you this. I've noticed in Florida, it was terrible there. It's like the people got so conditioned to every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a mower. It could be in the back of their truck. It could be in the trunk of their car. I've seen guys dragging them behind them down the road down there. I can see a case like that where you're just like, you know what? This is going to be bad. This is going to be a hard sell. But you know what? We had the same thing down in Florida. And you know what we did? We focused on the areas that were high. They were high maintenance areas, right? Gated communities. We got into gated communities. We marketed to those people in there. And they understood, hey, even these guys are more money, still they paid us because they knew they were getting quality work from quality guys. We didn't show up with the rusted pickup trucks. We didn't show up with the torn jeans and all that crap, right? So, that being said, no excuse, not buying it. Not going to buy it at all. There's ways to win. You've just got to figure out what they are, okay? So, I think that the more you know about marketing, the better you're going to be. If you don't know anything about marketing, you can't bring in 100 calls for lawn care. You can't bring in 100 calls for landscaping or pest control because you never learned how to make that phone ring. Okay? Do yourself a favor, learn the marketing, and as soon as you get that, answer that freaking phone. You've done the work, you've learned how to market, you went out, you did the marketing, the phone rings, answer the phone, and then be Johnny on the spot. That's how you fill up your calendars. That's why you don't have to be the lowballer and you don't have to compete on price. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I hope to God that you learned something about that here. You're killing the industry when you do that. When you lower your prices, you're just setting the industry back. I watched that happen up in Florida. It just made me sick. Till finally I was just like, I had a lot of reasons for getting out of there, but that was one of them too. You know, I just got tired of seeing this day in and day out. And the more you tried to preach to those guys about they can be better, like if you'd run into them in a gas station, you'd be like, guys, if you just do the things I'm doing, you can have the nice trucks and you can have the nice mowers and you can do these things. And you see these guys year after year and they're getting worse. Their vehicles are getting wore out. Their mowers are getting wore out. They're not getting any farther ahead. It's like no one listens, you know. So I hope you take the time to listen. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you do, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that little notification bell, because if you don't, YouTube will not let you know that we have new videos coming out. As always, thanks for watching.